Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about 5th edition. We're going to talk about Strixhaven, and we're going to talk about the specialty. We're going to talk about passing exams and saving the world, and who that was built for. Like, who Strixhaven really was specifically built for to have a transformative interaction, to have a transformative experience when they play Dungeons and Dragons. I am getting so excited about Strixhaven. So one, I'm in just this wonderful time. New Dungeons and Dragon books are bonkers. They just bring so much joy to my life. It's hard to explain it, right? Like, as I read Strixhaven, I'm getting more and more excited about where we are right now in Dungeons and Dragons. So first, I got to explain to you what Amanda Heyman actually accomplished. She's the lead designer on Strixhaven, and I'll tell you right now, I think the lead design work on this book exceeds the lead design work on any Dungeons and Dragons book since June 2nd of 1978. So on June 2nd of 1978, the Orange Spine Easley. So Jeff Easley's one of the incredible illustrators, for probably one of the best illustrators, definitely top 3, I think, illustrators that's ever done art for Dungeons and Dragons. And at that point, he brought out the Player's Handbook and the Orange Spine Easley for the Player's Handbook, and it's absolutely stunning. It's just an incredible book, and so basically, what you're looking at really here is Dungeons and Dragons 1E. And it's the first time the Player's Handbook has the following. It has all the rules in one actual regular-sized hardback. And, with Jeff Easley brought in, it's Gary Gygax saying, okay, we have these amazing rules, right? I'm a professional, right? Like, I'm a professional game designer. Let's stop hiring my friends for art and get some real art on this thing. And you're like, well, why does it matter what the cover is? It's a big deal, right? And the reason why is when you bring in a professional artist, they can actually attract the masses. And that's what Gary did. He attracted the masses to Immortality. Okay, so what is Immortality? Gary didn't create immortality for anyone. I have immortality. I'm an evangelical Christian. When I die, I'm going to live forever, thanks to the blood of Jesus Christ, right? But regular lost people, they don't have that, right? They don't have immortality. But Gary did introduce in 1974 and really solidified it in 1978 this immortality, original mortality, original Dungeons and Dragons mortality, where it's saying he's giving additional life, right? Like, basically, before 1974, you could only live one sad, shriveled, life. And once Dungeons and Dragons came along and said, no, you can have as many lives as you want, right? It's just going to be, it won't be vertical, it'll be horizontal, right? You can live 30 different lives now, right? And it's incredible. And you're going to have these different memories, these different sense palettes, these different voices, these different cadences. Everything about you is going to change in these other lives. And it allows you to choose to live in as any gender, lives at any wealth class you wish. It's unlimited. It's unlimited identity, unbound identity, right? And unbound immersion as well. It's incredible what he accomplished, right? And so basically that was Gary's first gate, right? And Strixhaven is really Gary's second gate. Amanda Heyman, I think she sees Gary Gygax more clearly than anyone living today, right? As far as who is doing design work for Dungeons and Dragons. I should put that caveat on it. And basically, Strixhaven is, so I was listening to Icarus Games, and I was listening to one specific Strixhaven video, and the link is below. And he said something, and he was, he did a bog standard review of Strixhaven. It's like, if you want to run a magic school, campaign, buy this book. But if you don't want to do anything else, don't buy this book, because this will, this chocolate should not be mixed with any other peanut butter. I'm terrified of this, right? Like, every reviewer I'm seeing, I haven't seen a single reviewer who sees Strixhaven for what it is. They're all terrified of it, right? They're not wrong. It should be terrifying to them because it is Gary's second gate, right? Like, and basically what it's saying is, we're going to the next level now, right? You've been chopping goblins in half for 47 years. Now we are going to myopically look at the structure of human interaction, right? And all the time and attention and mechanical complexity that we put on combat for 47 years, we're going to do it with interaction. But this time it's going to change our hearts and our minds, because we cannot look at ourselves that closely and not change who we are as human beings. This is the real game, right? This is what, in my humble opinion, what Gary always meant to come forward, right? When we stopped thinking incredibly carefully, incredibly complexly, incredibly at a level of incredible importance, where we write books and we rewrite entire games just to say, this is what a longsword does, and this is what a greatsword, right? But now we're saying this is what a friend is, this is what a beloved is, this is how you convince, this is how you repel, right? And when we start doing this, I honestly believe we're going to leave psychology behind, because psychology is motivated by money, right? But for us, it's going to be motivated by imagination and curiosity and truth, right? Like what we're doing right now with Strixhaven, the door that opens with Strixhaven's incredibly myopic focus on human interaction, I honestly believe it will leave psychology and psychiatry in the dust, right? And the reason why is the motivation for psychology and psychiatry is money, is $200 an hour. And anybody who has it gets it, and anybody who doesn't. And tell me if I'm wrong there. Boy, is that more true than anything else today. But when you say, hey, let's look at human nature. Let's look at minds and hearts, right? And let's understand them at the basest level. And let's not stop looking until we've mastered it. And let's break that away from the almighty US dollar. What you're seeing is going to be absolutely magnificent, and the ramifications of it. This is Gary's second gate, in my opinion, right? He was like, hey, I've given you unbound identity. I've given you unbound immersion. I know you as humans in 1974 are not ready to look at yourselves, right? But now, in the age of mental health being an important aspect, we are. So in 2021, so on December 7th, 2021, when Amanda Heyman published, her lead design work in Strixhaven, this is Gary's second gate, right? This is where Dungeons and Dragons puts a turbo on itself, right? And what really blew me away, right, was Icarus Games said something like, he can't see Strixhaven for what he is, because he's like a mechanical, I need to chop a goblin in math guy, which virtually everybody playing D&D right now is, right? It's not his fault. Like, he'll get there, right? He's still at the Squirtle level. He's not at the War Turtle Blastoise level yet, right? He'll get there, right? We need to be patient with him, right? And what he said, but he said something, he's like, what this game is about is passing exams and saving the world. And I was like, what? Like, oh my gosh, holy crap. That's the best description of Strixhaven I've heard yet from somebody who's not me, right? And like, who's this game for, right? Like, so first of all, I'm 50 years old. I love D&D. I'm gonna grab this. But can you imagine somebody going into their their freshman year of college, right? They're 18, they're an adult, right? And right now, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in college right now. I have to pass my exams, and I also have to save the world. Not in a D&D game, in real life, right? That's what an 18-year-old going into college today for a traditional like dorm experience, that's what they have to do, right? They have to be like, okay, I need to make sure I pass my exams, but I also have to make sure that the boomers, the millennials, the Gen Xers, that they don't melt my earth and make it so that I have a wasteland to live in 20, 30 years from now. Oh, and also, it looks like we have a plague now, and I'm going to need to solve that too. And now, why would an 18-year-old in college need to solve those? Because we sure as heck aren't, right? The people who are going to save them from climate change flew to the conference in private jets. They're not taking the problem seriously. And the Gen Z see this. They're like, we have to save ourselves, right? The people who gave them the solution, air quotes, for March 2020, right? Oh, do this. Oh, it totally failed. Now keep doing this, right? There's no hope for them. They have to save themselves. They have to save their own world as they pass their exams, right? And Amanda Heyman, just like Gary in 1974, said the human race needs, the human species needs help, and I'm going to give it to him. And in my opinion, he disguised it. He disguised it as a game. He disguised one of the most powerful intellectual evolutionary tools ever created by mankind, right? By humankind. He disguised it because he knew it would never be accepted if he said the quiet part loud, right? And Amanda Heyman's doing the same thing. And the people who can't see, who are blind, are saying, "Well, this is a Harry Potter like copy." They don't understand that like what Amanda Heyman really delivered is Gary. She opened Gary's second gate, right? Gary was like, "Hey," in 1974, it's like, "Hey, let's look at combat," right? And you're not going to notice that I actually am giving you unbound identity and unbound immersion. And now Amanda Heyman is like, "Hey, I'm going to make it so that young people today will be able to play this game and not be freaked out by the idea that they have to pass their exams and save the real world in their real life, because they'll have a fun way to do it in their extra life that Gary gave them, right? And it'll make it less scary, right?" And I'll tell you right now, young kids today, they're absolutely terrified. Just listen to Andrew Yang today. He said mental health crisis is just going through the roof in America because, it's just through the roof. So they're terrified. And so Amanda Heyman's like, I'll disguise this as a Harry Potter copy, but the reality what it is it's Gary's second game. It's us as the human species saying, let's do it. Let's stop talking about chopping goblins in half and making hundreds and thousands of pages of complexity for that. Let's make hundreds and thousands of pages of complexity for seeing what it takes one person to convince another person, or to convert another person, or to persuade another person, or to repel another person, right? And now that we are focusing on that, this is where Gary's real work, it's already been going, right? It's us installing a turbo in the vehicle as it runs. That's what Amanda Heyman actually did. Nobody sees it. Nobody sees what Strixhaven is. Not directly. They see it indirectly because they are absolutely terrified of it. Every commentator out is like, you cannot mix this with regular D&D. And I'm thrilled. And the reason why is they're terrified. They don't know why they're frightened. This is the reason. And I think, I'm confident that the young people are not going to be frightened the way the old people are. That's my take. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.